How's it going, guys? Halloween 2026 is slowly but surely approaching, and in the meantime, I wanted to do a Halloween costume tutorial video. This is something I've wanted to do for a while, specifically on this costume, the Phantom of the Opera Red Death musical version. Now, this is a costume that I've had since high school, and over the years I've been tinkering with it, altering it, and adding new pieces here and there. And in general, it may not be the best costume in the world, but it's my favorite. I've My mom and I worked on it when I was in high school, and again, like I said, I've always been altering it on my own here and there. And I would like to give you a brief tutorial on how to make a very simple and, in my opinion, fairly affordable, minus the mask, which I'll get to in a second, version of the Family Opera in this look. So let's get into it. I got the vest, the pants, and the hat at a Halloween store, but I forgot what the Halloween store is called. This was years ago when I just got out of high school and started this project. But thanks to our good old friend, the internet, I was able to find the exact hat that I have. This is the Governor Tricorn Pirate costume hat. I found it on HalloweenCostumes.com, and it is, let's see, it's about $30. And the only difference is when I bought it, I took fabric that I really liked from Joanne Fabrics. It's like a red fabric with some gold decoration marks on it, and I covered the black parts in that fabric. You can use any other kind of fabric you want, or you could even find a different type of hat altogether that's red. Maybe a red pirate hat, like a Captain Hook hat, could work. But this is the one I did. I really like that it had some red and gold trimmings already. I like that it had the feathers there. And when I originally started this costume, I did add a feather boa on the top of the hat, like red and black, but it just wouldn't stick in there, even with the glue. So I just ultimately took that part out. But if you wanted to add some crazy red and black feathers on the top of the hat, I think that would work perfectly for Red Death too. Although, like I said, this hat already has like some kind of white feathers on it, so maybe you don't even need the boa. But this is the hat I used in short. Now, the mask is where this project becomes pricey if you want it to be. I got my mask from an Etsy seller called Longshore Masks. Unfortunately, the product is out of stock at the moment. It might be back at a later date, I don't know. So, in the meantime, there is another seller that I found on Etsy. This is Studio DFX Inc.'s Red Death mask. I've bought from this seller before. I have their Herbert Lom Phantom of the Opera mask, and I've bought a few prosthetics from them. They're really cool and amazingly made masks and prosthetics. If this is still out of your price range, or if you want something more and you want something more simple, there are other skull masks you can get, some with movable jaws, some without. When I first started doing my Red Death costume, I just used a skull mask, and then found another skull mask that had a movable jaw, and then I went on to the Etsy masks. So if you're not willing to spend a lot of money for the mask, then a different type of skull mask will work just fine for this character. The shirt I used originally was a lot of trial and error. It was a simplicity pattern shirt, but it kept falling apart, so that was out of the question when I was updating. And I went with this exact Renaissance pirate shirt. I'll put the link in the description if you want it. But honestly, any red Renaissance shirt should work as long as it's like very puffy, has the collar and the cuffs. That a Renaissance shirt should work perfectly for this character as well. I honestly didn't think I'd find the vest again, but here it is. The internet's a magical place, isn't it? So basically, what I did was I got this generic pirate vest that was red, and I was lucky enough to find one that had these kind of gold trimmings on it. And like I said, I'll put the link for a lot of these, or probably all of them, in the description below. This is the exact vest that I have. Mine has gone lost its color over the years, but this should work just fine still. But yeah, if you can't find this in stock still at the time this goes up on YouTube or after, I'm sure just a generic red vest will do fine. And even if you sewed on or glued on with fabric glue some gold trimming, that could do wonders too. But in case you're wondering, this is the red vest. Man, I'm amazed that I found it. The Phantom's Red Death costume had some pretty baggy red pants, so To make it simple, I just found these red elastic parachute pants, again at a Halloween costume store. I couldn't find the exact brand this was, but I'm sure you could find it somewhere on Amazon or another party website of some sort. Some additional items I used include a long red hooded cloak or cape. I used dress shoes, but boots could also work. And I also used a belt to tie around the vest. So I tried different types of belts, and I'm honestly still trying to figure out what looks best. But for now, I'm just using a standard dress belt. And that's basically how I did the Phantom of the Opera Red Death costume on a budget. Like I said, you the budget will exceed depending on what you want to do for the mask, or if you want to, well, go further out. But this is still my simplified version of doing the Phantom of the Opera Red Death costume. I hope this helped in some way. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And again, this is a costume that I love altering throughout the years, and maybe one day I'll even have some more update videos on it. But for now, I hope this helped and that you got some use out of this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.